Hey, welcome back to the AI and the podcast. Today we're going to talk about Sam Altman has confirmed they're not working on GPT-5, but they're working on expanding GPT-4 and its use cases. We'll also talk about how Elon Musk has now rumored to bought over 10,000 GPUs for Twitter as a plan to do his own AI operations. We're also going to talk about how Amazon has now entered the AI race. I'm going to show you how you can make up to $20,000 with OpenAI's new bounty program. And we're going to talk about how this guy and this community is making upwards to $800,000 to $1 million a year working 4 jobs instead of just one. And I'm joined here with Cody today as well as my co-host while we're going through this.
Hey, what's up, guys? Let's get right into it.
All right, let's jump into the first one. So OpenAI has now confirmed that they're not working on GPT-5, but does that really matter? So the CEO, Sam Altman, quashed the rumors that OpenAI is already developing GPT-5, which, as you guys know, Elon Musk was really apparent about pausing the experiment for 6 months for everybody else to catch up, right? However, the comments likely won't be much of consolation to those worried about AI safety. So there's a really nice video here that I want to start off watching with Lex Friedman at MIT, where Sam Altman called in.
I grew up in the Soviet Union. We didn't have.
Second season. Yeah.
We have some sexy, controversial questions. So you got legends in artificial intelligence: Ilya Sutskever and Andrej Karpathy over there. Who's smarter? Just kidding. You don't have to answer that.
Nobody was about to.
You were thinking about it. I like it.
He was just about to answer to
No, just so we're at MIT, and from here with Max Tegmark and others, they put together this open letter to halt AI development for 6 months. What are your thoughts about this open letter?
There's parts of the thrust that I really agree with. We spent more than 6 months after we finished training GPT-4 before we released it. So taking the time to really study the safety of the model, to get external audits, external red teamers, to really try to understand what's going on and mitigate as much as you can. That's important. It's been really nice since we have launched GPT-4, how many people have said, like, wow, this is not only the most capable model OpenAI has put out, but like by far the safest and most aligned, and unless I'm trying to get it to do something bad, it won't.
And that's what a lot of people are talking about too, like the safety and regulating is so important with the harassment and security of things. And to me, it's been really good. However, there are people obviously trying to jailbreak it and get it to do things that it shouldn't, and they're still able to do that.
That I totally agree with. I also agree that as capabilities get more and more serious, the safety bar has got to increase. But unfortunately, I think the letter is missing like most technical nuance about where we need the pause. Like it's actually like OpenAI, an earlier version of the letter claimed that OpenAI is training GPT-5 right now. We are not and won't for some time. So in that sense, it was sort of silly. But
so here is where he confirms that they won't actually upgrade to GPT-5, but does that really matter? We'll read more about that in a second.
We are doing other things on top of GPT-4 that I think have all sorts of safety issues that are important to address and were totally left out of the letter. So I think moving with caution and an increasing rigor for safety issues is really important. The letter, I don't think, is the optimal way to address it.
But just a quick question for me, one more, is you have been extremely open, having a lot of conversations, being honest. Others at OpenAI as well. What's the philosophy behind that? Because compared to other companies that are much more closed in that regard. And do you plan to continue doing that?
We certainly plan to continue doing that. The trade-off is like we say dumb stuff sometimes, stuff that turns out to be totally wrong. And I think a lot of other companies don't want to say something until they're sure it's right. But I think this technology is going to so impact all of us that we believe that engaging everyone in the discussion, putting these systems out into the world, deeply imperfect though they are in their current state, so that people get to experience them, think about them, understand the upsides and the downsides, it's worth the trade-off, even though we do tend to embarrass ourselves in public and have to change our minds with new data frequently.
I mean, it makes sense, Sam's fears of AI, because there's a lot of fake things going on right now, and with AI, it can make it seamless. Whether that be a fake picture of me doing something that didn't actually happen, or a video, or even documents. It's going to be hard to authorize and prove that you are who you say you are with some of these AI tools that are coming out to make it easy to pretend or fake something that didn't actually happen. And fake news is already a problem, let alone with AI, multiplying and amping that up for sure.
Yeah. The thing that I like with Sam a lot is that he just doesn't have the sort of ego that a lot of other people have, in a sense. It's kind of like he's just chilling. He's just making the things that he really wants to make. And he doesn't really he's not too overly proud or we don't do things wrong or anything like that. He just, he got a good head on his shoulders.
He's humble. Yep. He's humble. He's aware. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with other countries, but the United States right now is trying to pass AI laws, which that's going to be a mess. We already seen the trials for social media and how those have been going. So with AI, this is a whole new level that's going to take over our governments.
Can the AI access my router?
Exactly.
So it basically says that they highlighted a significant challenge in the debate about AI safety, the difficulty of measuring and tracking progress, and that they're not currently training GPT-5, which it doesn't really matter. And we're going to go through that. Basically, the fallacy of version numbers, the idea that numbered tech updates reflect definite and linear improvements in capability, which is obviously, of course, the iPhone 35 is better than iPhone 34. But really, when it comes to GPT-4, we haven't even started implementing a lot of the auditory systems. We haven't started implementing a lot of the visual systems like text to video. There's some things popping up here and there, but most of it is still not used to its fullest capability. So here you can see that a lot of claims made about AI superintelligence are essentially unfalsifiable. These individuals rely on similar rhetoric to get their point across. Now, Sam also says that he doesn't believe that GPT-4 is an AGI or a superhuman or anything like that, but obviously with training over time, it will get better. So the focus in these discussions should be on capabilities, on demonstrations of what these systems can and can't do, and predictions of how this may change over time. So you can see that the company is still expanding the potential of GPT-4 by connecting it to the internet, for example. So this is only one out of all these different things that it can do. And I think that is GPT-5. You don't need to upgrade the system itself. The system itself is amazing, but adding things on top, taking away things, is going to make it even better. I don't know, have you been using GPT-4 a lot, Cody?
I've been messing around with it mostly for rewriting certain documents and scripts that are just boring and mundane, and I'll use it to rewrite it more creatively, and then I'll enhance it from there. So I've been dabbling with it, but nothing crazy. The last week I've been doing a lot more research, and some of the prompts, if you know how to prompt properly, that can give you some insane results. And that's actually crazy. One of the new opportunities that's going to come from AI, because yes, AI will replace a lot of jobs, but it's also going to open up new opportunities. One of them being a prompt engineer, knowing the correct things to prompt in, the correct things to type in to get the input or the output that you actually want.
Exactly. And I think that's really where when I've been using ChatGPT or even apps on top of ChatGPT, it really is a big difference on how you prompt things and the results that you get from that as well.
Exactly.
So they're also talking about like ambitious tools. Like we've seen a lot of cool tools and AI systems that act on behalf of users, like Auto GPT. We've been talking about a bunch. And again, the version numbers can mislead, and it's clear that society has its hands full with the systems currently available. And he's talking about if governments were somehow able to enforce a ban on new AI developments. And I definitely don't believe that. You can see Amazon is in, Google is in, Microsoft is in. All the big money now is going into AI. So I definitely don't think that there's going to be a ban. I don't even think that there's going to be a pause. I just think it's going to develop faster now than ever. And I don't think that it's going to get worse from here or pause or anything like that. It's just going to go exponential.
Well, the governments can put brakes on them for the mass public, but OpenAI it's open. Anybody can improve it. So it doesn't matter unless they completely block the websites. Like you said, the big companies, the big tech, they're all on board. They are as big and as powerful, if not more, than governments. So there is no trade-off.
So you can see a tweet from Smokeaway here that Sam Altman said that we are not currently training GPT-5. We're working on doing more things with GPT-4. And he had a poll. Is this a truth or a doubt? And like 65% says that they don't really believe him. But honestly, I believe Sam on this because there's no need to train another GPT, and like version numbers doesn't really matter. It's the use case of how to use it that really matters. And another funny one here, the first thing GPT-5 sees when it wakes up. Obviously the creators and the main people behind OpenAI and ChatGPT. I feel like if this is what you see when you wake up, it's scary.
You're going to need more than Folgers.
Elon Musk just bought 10,000 GPUs to create his own AI. It's a pretty secretive project, but I'll tell you what we've found about it. It's very interesting to see Elon also entering the race for AI, right? So as you can see here, that despite advocating for an industry-wide halt to the AI training, Elon Musk has reportedly kicked off a major artificial intelligence project within Twitter. The company has already purchased approximately 10,000 GPUs and recruited AI talent from DeepMind for the project that involves a large language model, reports in Business Insider. However, acquiring a significant amount of additional computing power suggests his dedication towards advancing the project. As you can see, the exact purpose of the generative AI is unclear, but potential applications included the improving search functionality or generating targeted advertising content. I don't think he's going to use it for targeted advertising content. I really think he's going to use it to train the AI on Twitter's data, because Twitter has so much good data, and specifically like all the most important people are on Twitter, so that can help Twitter as well. What do you think he's going to use?
I'm not going to doubt he doesn't use some of it for targeted ads. It's just another thing to make it look better if you are an advertiser looking to spend money, right? We also have AI generated leads from these smart algorithms, right? It's going to be more enticing for a business owner to opt in for that. But no, I don't think that's the primary focus. Honestly, I have no idea what his play is here, because I heard that he is trying to get out of Twitter, but he also just liquidated or transferred Twitter ownership into his X Holdings company. So it's going to be really interesting what he is planning on doing. But with 10,000 GPUs, that's something big. And I'm glad I bought my graphics card already, because clearly now that the crypto bubble's popped and it's growing up again, and now he's bought 10,000 GPUs, you know the price of GPUs are just going to go up again.
Oh yeah, and with all the AI advancements as well, like the GPU is gonna be like the new oil, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. So these are kind of the rumors that these GPUs are expected to be deployed in one of Twitter's 2 remaining data centers, with Atlanta being the most likely destination. Interestingly, Musk closed Twitter's primary data center in Sacramento late December, which obviously lowered the company's compute capabilities. So, I mean, that's kind of cool that he actually is probably just upgrading to different hardware, right? So Musk has been actively seeking talent in the AI industry to compete with OpenAI's ChatGPT since at least February. OpenAI used NVIDIA's A100 GPUs to train its ChatGPT bot and continues to use these machines to run it. But by now, they have obviously launched the H100. We're going to take a look at it in a second. It's such a beautiful piece of computing power or hardware. Twitter will likely use NVIDIA's Hopper H100 or similar hardware for its AI project. So you can see that when big companies like Twitter buy hardware, they buy at special rates as they procure thousands of units. However, it costs north of 10,000 per unit.
I believe it. That thing is insane. Like, what is that?
Yeah, take a look at this. So this is the new Hopper H100 GPU with 80 billion transistors. So, I mean, this looks like it's AI generated with Midjourney or something like that. Yeah, they just launched it on, is it the spring 2020 keynote?
80,000 transmitters though. I wonder how much power that's going to require just to keep that functional, and how they're going to, like, what you're going to have to do to keep that cool, because that's definitely going to be a lot of power.
Exactly. And it looks wild. Like when you go a little bit more down, you can see this is how it looks like. So it's basically just a super pod that is in some sort of server room. And this is obviously what NVIDIA is doing now with cloud computing, and you can get access to that with the Picasso. Whoa, we got some sounds here. Yeah, this happened 6 months ago. So they launched it 6 months ago. Crazy. So the winner of all of this, by the way, is NVIDIA. Like, I want to show you NVIDIA stock. Like, they've partnered with everyone. And as you can see, the stock is just rallying like crazy. Look at this. It's just beautiful.
Not to mention, NVIDIA is also investing in some AI themselves right now, if you weren't aware.
Yeah, you might say that they are AI at this point.
True. I'm actually really excited for the AI that they're coming out with, because it is a eye screen tracker. So if instead of looking at the camera and you have to read a script and you don't have a teleprompter, which a lot of people can tell when you're reading off a teleprompter, with NVIDIA's eye tracking, you can legit just stare at a script off of the camera, but your eyes will be looking at the camera the whole time, even though you're reading the script. And it's seamless. You can't even tell. It's insane.
Yeah, I tried using it for some videos. And when I'm looking down at the script, my eyes kind of look up and it looks super creepy. It's like
creepy.
It looks so creepy because I know I'm looking down, and when I look at the camera, I look at the camera. It's like, what's happening? They say though that it might be a big gamble, considering that Twitter's finances are already in a rough state. Last month, Musk warned workers in an email that the site was in a precarious financial position, valuing it at less than half of what it bought it for last year. So they're saying, you know, buying a full warehouse full of expensive hardware is likely to add to Twitter's growing mountain of debt, at least in the short term. I mean, you gotta spend money to make money in these cases. Like, if he's gonna not go into AI, I bet Tesla has a lot of computing as well in the AI space, but 10,000 GPUs of the best GPUs you can get out there, I don't think they have that. So I think it's a great investment, maybe one of the best investments that he can make.
I mean, he's a business owner. He knows the ins and outs of entrepreneurship. He's definitely using Twitter as what's the term? A crux? What's the thing that Harry Potter used to, or not Harry Potter, but the guy used to separate out his body out? Voldemort?
He's Crux?
Yeah, Hoocrux. Yeah, he's using Twitter as a Hoocrux, but he can write off the losses as a business while using the expenses of AI that would benefit literally all of his other companies, not just Twitter. So even if he is doing this at a loss, he's still getting ahead. Maybe not on paper right now, but a couple years from the road, oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's an investment that is huge. Like how if we do the math right now, I know that you guys can do this quick math in your head, but just look at how big this number really is. Or I mean, 100 milli? Is that really that bad?
Oh, that's chump change for Daddy-O Musk.
I mean, we're talking billions, right? So at least like his companies are worth billions, at least in stocks. I mean, 100 million, I don't think that's that much to invest into some of the best hardware right now. But yeah, gotta say, NVIDIA is the obvious winner right now, just completely destroying the market with these amazing GPUs. And yeah, everybody is just fighting hand over fist to get this hardware. And it's amazing to see. So here you can see that actually the A100 GPU cost $15,000. So you can see here that this is the old one that trained ChatGPT. And there were some amazing comments here as well. He got money, and there's a possibility that he can get the GPU at the much cheaper price due to buying bulk. So obviously he's gonna get it cheaper than that. And also it's rumored that they're gonna do H100 chips and not A100, because it doesn't make sense to buy outdated gear. You can see that this would be the most sophisticated use of Twitter data. Could be huge. Twitter can train it on how to argue online. Yeah, Twitter they can use all the GPUs to boost Elon Musk's like count. This is why they wanted to put a 6-month freeze on OpenAI and ChatGPT. You know, I kind of believe on this one. Like, one of the biggest reasons he wants to stop AI is just so he can catch up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the most important part, more GPU, more better.
More happy.
Amazon just joined the AI race, and they're building their own AI platforms, own AI cloud computing services, and they're trying to take big market share from a lot of the big players and partnering with some of the best people in this space. So you can see here that Amazon is throwing its hat into the generative AI ring, but rather than build AI models entirely by itself, it's recruiting third parties to host models on AWS. So AWS today unveiled Amazon Bedrock, which provides a way to build generative AI-powered apps via pre-trained models from startups including AI21 Labs, Anthropic, and Stability AI. So you can kind of see that they're trying to take the stance of partnering with the best in AI instead of, making their own and things like that, which works with AWS. So if you guys don't know, AWS is obviously cloud computing and all the things going on the back end of softwares, so they can kind of do the computing power and big server rooms and things like that.
In short, AWS sells the tools, the platform for the people to do this stuff. Well, you have to go after the opportunities yourself. But AWS does what Amazon does. They sell the infrastructure and the tools.
Now they're going to apply machine learning to the real world. Solving real business problems at scale is what we do best, says Vasi Philomin, VP of Generative AI at AWS. And they are basically talking to TechCrunch on a phone interview here, and we're going to read all the quotes here. So we think every application out there can be reimagined with generative AI. And that's kind of beautiful because that's what you want to see. And that's what a lot of people think as well. Like everything is just going to be, oh, you have an app? Well, in a couple of months now, it's going to be presumed that all the apps work like magic. So last November, Stability AI selected AWS as its preferred cloud provider. And in March, Hugging Face and AWS collaborated to bring the former's text generating models onto the AWS platform. And Hugging Face is one of the biggest people or companies in AI right now, and that they're partnering with AWS, that's huge. You also have Bedrock custom models. So Bedrock is Amazon's most forceful play yet for the generative AI market, which could be worth close to 110 billion by 2030, according to estimates from the Grand View Research. With Bedrock, AWS customers can opt to tap into AI models from a variety of different providers, including AWS, via an API. So they're really just playing to their strength here. Everybody knows AWS is a big player. Also, when you talk about the rival, Google Cloud and Azure from Microsoft here, they're trying to just, steal the things that they do really well and, take market share from them as well, which Amazon is really good at.
I was going to say, yeah, that's Amazon does that best. If there's a road to take, it's obviously easier to take that road than to find the path yourself. So Amazon just builds up the infrastructure, they front the bill, and then they hope that you eventually utilize that infrastructure that they built just because it's ease of use for you. Saves you time, saves you money.
Exactly. And Amazon is such a good company, in my opinion, as well. They really do the things that they do really well at a very high level so that they can take a big portion of this market. I definitely believe they can, and it's going to be interesting to see. One presumes that generative AI model vendors were incentivized by AWS reach or potential revenue sharing to join Bedrock. So you can see here the third-party models hosted on Bedrock include AI21 Labs, Jurassic 2 family, which are multilingual and can generate text in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Italian, and Dutch. Claude's Anthropic model on Bedrock that can perform a range of conversational and text processing tasks. So it's like ChatGPT, but it's just not as good, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Stability AI's suite of text-to-image Bedrock-hosted models include Stable Diffusion that can generate images, art, logos, and graphic designs. So Stable Diffusion is really, really good, and that is hosted on AWS is really great. Here you can see Amazon Bedrock being in the top here with Amazon's Code Whisperer that we're going to talk about in a minute, Amazon EC2 TRN1N, and Amazon EC2 ENF. Do people really?
No.
Do people really use these things?
They would use the lingo, so like Amazon EC2 Turn 1N and EC2 Infinity 2. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would say infinity on this one. Inf. Hey, bro, you used the EC2 Inf today?
EC2 Turn In, or did you EC2 Infinity?
The Infinity is so good.
Inf 2.
So you can see here that as for Amazon's bespoke offering, the Titan, I'm not going to say the bespoke offering. Who says things like that?
Whoever wrote this fucking article.
Yeah, what the hell? You had a phone conversation and you used large language.
Who wrote this? ChatGPT? Bespoketh? Hear ye, hear ye. The Titan FM family.
Write this as Shakespeare, but just more modern. As for Amazon's offerings, the Titan FM family comprises of 2 models at present, with presumably more to come in the future, and the 2 are text generating model and embedding model. So that's what they're working on themselves. So that's basically, the first text is OpenAI's GPT-4, right? But they say it's not necessarily on par performance-wise, which we've seen with Google as well, with the Bard, which is not as good. Then you have the embedding models that translates text inputs like words and phrases into numerical representations known as embeddings. So you can see that AWS customers can customize any Bedrock model by pointing the service at a few labeled examples in a Amazon S3, Amazon's cloud storage plan. As few as 20 is enough. At the AWS, we played a key role in democratizing machine learning and making it accessible to anyone who wants to use it. Amazon's Bedrock is the easiest way to build and scale generative AI applications with foundation model. And that's what they do, right? They have just basic things, but they do the basic thing really well, and it works. And it's usually pretty cheap as well. But here is what is a little bit different. Obviously, there are several lawsuits over generative AI tech from companies including OpenAI and Stability AI, brought by plaintiffs who allege that they are using copyrighted data, right? And mostly art, which was used without permission to train generative models.
There's also a government official in Australia that is suing OpenAI because they made a post about, a fake one obviously, about how he had been previously arrested and imprisoned when that is not true. So he's now proceeding legal action against OpenAI.
Is this the Australian mayor?
Yeah, the Australian mayor.
Like a defamation suit against OpenAI. Damn. Filament didn't instill much confidence, frankly refused to say which data exactly Amazon Titan FM family was trained on. Instead, he stressed that the Titan models were built to detect and remove harmful content in the data AWS customers provide for the customization, reject inappropriate content, users' input, and filter output containing hate speech, profanity, and violence, which is obviously very, very important. And we've seen a little bit with the Bing going absolutely wild and actually gaslighting its users, saying some sort of hate speech, and that's not what you want for a company. So obviously a lot of people have that in mind when they're building new systems like this. Personally, I can't wait until we get an AI model that is only racist and only sexist and starts roasting Norwegians.
They do it for the memes, for the gags, or for their own self-hatred.
So you can see that we're committed to the responsible use of these technologies, he said. We're monitoring the regulatory landscape out there, and we have a lot of lawyers helping us look at which data we can use and which we can't use.
I asked ChatGPT to make me a nuclear reactor in the backyard. It's not going so well.
One of the last things they launched was Code Whisperer, Trainium, and Inferentia that launched in GA. On the subject of coinciding with its big generative AI push today, Amazon made Code Whisperer on its AI-powered code generating service, free of charge to developers without any usage restrictions. So this AI code is basically like GitHub's Copilot. Now, the move suggests that Code Whisperer hasn't seen the uptake Amazon hoped it would. So you can see that Copilot obviously has millions of users as of January, thousands of which are enterprise customers. And essentially, it's just an autocomplete functions like Java, JavaScript, Python-based code in just a few keystrokes. Now, there's so many apps out there now that can do this for you and help you. You can see here that the function, boom, you just do all of this for you. So they don't really have a differentiating factor why they would jump over to AWS to use this, as most of the people use GitHub to use some of the same features. So he says that developers can become a lot more productive with these tools. It's difficult for developers to be up to date on everything. Tools like this help them not have to worry about it. So you can also see that they've done the inferential chips, which were previous last year on Amazon's reInvent conference, and they're designed to speed up AI runtimes, delivering ostensibly better throughput and lower latency for improved overall inference price performance. To me, this is all chips, and I mean, people don't really, or some people care, but many don't. The same with the EC2 TR1N instances powered by AWS Trainium is also a custom chip for AI training, and you can see that it delivers 20% higher performance over TRN1 for large network intensive models. And they're also claiming here, Philomin is saying AWS offers the most effective cloud infrastructure for generative AI. Is that true? Who knows? One of the needs for customers is the right cost for dealing with these models. It's one of the reasons why many customers haven't put these models in production.
That's probably why it's the most effective cloud infrastructure, because AWS is pretty much the cheapest out there. So it would be the best cloud-based infrastructure for anything, not just AI, but yeah, cost-wise.
Exactly.
Cost-wise.
Yep, and they're very popular as well. I think that they're gonna do well in this, and it's good to see that Amazon is actually getting into the AI world, creating their own things, partnering with the right people, and offering services like this to the people. I like that.
I'm just waiting for AI to get a hold of my credit card and start buying stuff that I don't want, but stuff that I need, and then me being upset because they know me.
OpenAI just launched a bug bounty program where you can make anywhere from $200 up to $20,000 just for exploiting their code, finding bugs, and things like that. So you can see that it's basically an initiative that they've sent to develop a safe and advanced AI. As we create technology and services that are secure, reliable, and trustworthy, we need your help. And it's amazing to see this, right? I know that Microsoft has this as well, and we recently had a story on the channel of a guy that got $65,000 for hacking into Microsoft and reporting it. So we believe that transparency and collaborations are crucial to addressing this reality. Your expertise and vigilance will have a direct impact on keeping our systems and users secure. Introducing the Bug Bounty Program. Sounds like some sort of Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny? We're hunting rabbits.
So the Bounty Program is a way for us to recognize and reward the valuable insights of security researchers who contribute to keeping our technology and company secure. I'm just imagining there are hackers out there that just go into bug bounty programs and just hack and just like, hey, your shit ain't secure. Just making a living from that. I bet there's people out there making a living.
And then here's the fix. $20,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good system for sure. By sharing your findings, you will play a crucial role in making our technology safer for everyone. Hey, we have partnered with BugCrowd, a leading bug bounty platform, to manage the submissions and reward process. So we're going to go into the bug bounty program in a second. You can see the incentives and the rewards. So our rewards range from $200 for low severity findings to up to $20,000 for exceptional discoveries. What would be an exceptional discovery?
I hope they're more detailed on that, because that could be broad, right?
Maybe they have it in the next page. So staying secure together, obviously, yada yada, they want to be secure, safety, and everything like that. So here is BugCrowd, and you can see that you can actually submit right now. They've literally done 29 vulnerabilities that has been rewarded, and the average payout was around $700. That's pretty crazy, knowing that the reward program was opened on April 11th. That is literally 3 days ago. So you can also join this as well. You can see that Most of them gets paid between $200 to $6,500 per vulnerability. Now, let's see the expectations here. So you might be wondering, like, what are they looking for? And you can also see some Hall of Famers right here, the real hackers. So here you can see that there are many things that aren't in the bounty program. For example, like jailbreaks and stuff like that. Hallucinations are out of scope. But actually here you can see the rewards here, which is basically API targets. So the following services and applications are in scope: the OpenAI's APIs, cloud resources, cloud storage account. You can see that P4 is the lower priority, going all the way up to P1 that has the maximum payout of $6,500. Also, ChatGPT is in scope, where they can have examples of stored reflected XSS. I don't even know what these are. Authentication issues, data exposure, payment issues, all of these things that they want you to look for. And again, you can get paid a lot of money for doing so as well. That consists of confidential OpenAI corporate information that may be exposed through third parties. Some example of these vendors. And what I believe is that a lot of these companies are already using GPT-4 in their company. And if you can maybe expose them for something inside of their own company, you can get some rewards for that as well. They have open API keys, open research org, other targets like, for example, the OpenAI.com website, developer documentation, developer playground, and other internet-facing infrastructure operated by OpenAI and not specified in other targets. I really wonder if you could ask ChatGPT to find the vulnerability inside of itself.
That'd be interesting for sure. Maybe it would work. Who knows? Maybe it'll get to that point where it'll find its own bugs. But then why would it report it to you when it can just report to itself and fix itself?
Wouldn't that be amazing? It's just like, hey, I got a problem with myself. I'm gonna fix it. You can see here that we have the Hall of Fame as well, and they've actually gotten paid out. You can see Nigel, Tess. Let's check out what they did here and how they got paid. You can see that he works at shockwave.cloud, and he submitted a target ChatGPT priority number 1. So that is a big one. You can also see that he accepted on target bug crowd. He actually got a reward for that as well, which is amazing. Tess here submitted 3 different P3 on the target OpenAI.com and the she actually got $6,500 reward for the API.OpenAI.com.
$7,000 in one day, not too shabby.
So yeah, I guess it's time to become computer hacker. This guy is using ChatGPT to land multiple jobs. So while people are talking about AI taking away people's jobs, this guy is doing the opposite. And when he asked how many you got, 5 would be overkill. So you can see overemployed hustlers exploit ChatGPT to take on even more full-time job. He says ChatGPT does like 80% of my job. So this story is about Ben, which about a year ago, Ben found out that one of his friends had quietly started working multiple jobs at the same time. And the idea became popular during the COVID-19 pandemic. And he basically found a community of multi-job hustlers. In fact, they've come together online referring to themselves as the overemployed. The idea excited Ben, who lives in Toronto, and asked that Motherboard not use his real name. And he said, basically, he helps financial technology companies market new products. The job involves creating reports, storyboards, and presentations, all of which involve writing. He said there's no way that he could have done his job 2 times over on his own. Then last year, he started to hear more about ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by the researchers at OpenAI. And he was able to do his job way faster. And he said it's not a little bit more easy, he said it's like way easier.
Yeah, because if you're essentially taking out the thought process and just inserting prompts instead of coming up with a creative idea yourself, you have a blueprint in front of you, and then you just literally choose left or right, this one or this one, inside of a list.
It's huge, right? And if the employer doesn't know, but then he started to wonder he could pull off a second job. And then this year he took the plunge, and the decision he attributes to his new favorite online robot toy. That sounds a little dirty, honestly. That's the only reason I got my job this year, Ben said for OpenAI's tool. ChatGPT does like 80% of my job, to be honest. He even used it to create the cover letters to apply for jobs. And this small cohort of fast thinking and occasional devious go-getters, AI technology has turned into an opportunity not to be feared but exploited, with their employers apparently none the wiser.
I mean, there's very few tools that you can use right now to track if AI is what's writing the content. And even with the tools that are available, most people don't know about them or even how to use them. So it's really hard to tell.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many oldies working still and just like, hey, ChatGPT. I'm surprised that because we're in the AI space, obviously we get to know all these things really quick, but there's still people that even doesn't know what ChatGPT is, which is absolutely crazy. And they're talking about many of these people, the overworked, like one Ohio-based technology worker who upped his number of jobs from 2 to 4 after he started to integrate ChatGPT in his work process, and said, I think 5 would probably just be overkill. 5 jobs?
Yeah, 2 and 3 is overkill, but 5, yeah. That's insane.
I really wonder how much they make too. So it says the best assistant ever. The possibility of increasing their income, or at least easing the burden of holding down multiple jobs, has led to an explosion of experimentation. When one of Ben's bosses, for example, now asks him to create a story for an upcoming product release, he will explain the context and provide a template to ChatGPT, which creates an outline for him and helps him fill out the section. And you guys know how ChatGPT works. I can just tell it to create a story, said Ben, and it just does it for me based off the context that I gave it. Ben still needs to verify the information. Sometimes it gets stuff wrong, which is totally normal, he said, but the adjustments are relatively minor and easy to fix. Occasionally, he even asked ChatGPT to craft responses to Slack messages from his manager. It kind of reminds me a little bit on like you put like a face mask, like you're sleeping at your job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And you kind of has like eyes that are blinking and looking at the screen just so you can fake working. This kind of reminds me of that.
Or the video that you can download that's like a 9-hour video that's literally just Windows Update happening, so that way when they walk up to your computer, oh, I'm just updating my computer right now.
Yeah, you can just hang out with a water cooler and stuff like that.
Yep.
Man, people are so creative at not doing their job, so that ChatGPT can actually do their job. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. One member of the overemployed, who usually works 3 financial reporting jobs, says he's found ChatGPT useful in the creation of macros in Excel. I can create macros, but it takes me an hour, 2 hours plus, to write the code, test it, make sure everything is working, he said. By comparison with ChatGPT, he can provide the parameters and it will spit out something that he can update and tweak to his specifications. The process can allow him to cram what is traditionally a 2-week long process into a few hours. He says he avoids providing ChatGPT with confidential information, which is probably a good idea here. Marshall has come to see himself as the idea man and ChatGPT as the labor. I'm quite a conceptualizing person, so I'm quite happy for my brain to do that. But the first draft of anything almost always goes through GPT. The chatbots have already helped him generate business plans, internal system documents, blog posts, and Excel spreadsheets. He estimated that ChatGPT can often pull off 80% of the legwork, leaving him to handle the final 20%. The tool has even helped him win a grant from the UK government. The application was 50-50 me and ChatGPT, and complete the coursework for a master's degree necessary to receive a university teaching qualification he was too busy to handle by himself while working 3 jobs. What is this human? I mean, it feels like some sort of infinity stone in this case where he's just got the powers.
He is an AI, using AI.
I love that you got the human AI combo. Like, you got the human, you just need the robot to do the things, and you can really see how you can, get 2, 3, 4 jobs and a qualification from a university at the same time. It's really limitless what you can do here. I never could mentally comprehend why it was so taboo for me to work 2 salaried positions, says the Ohio-based technology worker. There's plenty of people I've known in my personal life who worked at Walmart from 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then gone and worked another job. The financial profession similarly said he started working multiple jobs because he doesn't trust that working as hard as he can at a single job will be rewarded with more pay, just more work. By taking on more jobs, he can do more work but also get paid for it, he says. I love that.
That's very true. Yeah.
One of the paradigms that I changed when I started doing YouTube and social media is the more I work, the more I get paid. But similarly to my girlfriend, she works really hard and she can work even harder and harder and harder, but the job and the salary is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I completely understand. And she works like double as hard as many of her co-workers anyways. So it's crazy to see that you can get 2 jobs, and what a great, like, mind-shifting...
Yeah, getting rewarded to work more for working well instead of getting rewarded compensation. That's what employees see is, we're giving you an opportunity to work more.
I think this article just opened my brain to new possibilities of how you can just be smarter and outwork everybody with just the right tools and the right mindset. The headline here, 1 loom operator as opposed to 100 weavers. So this guy Charles, the FANG alumni, considers himself as part of the FIRE movement, short for Financial Independence Retire Early. Not yet 30, he's already making $500,000 working 2 jobs and worth around $3 million. He claims he backed up to Motherboard with this documentation, but he hopes to increase his compensation to $800,000 by tracking a 3rd position and reach a net worth of $10 million by age 35. Shows that people can more easily hold down multiple jobs today, but should the bosses realize just how much their jobs can be handled by robots, they could be at risk of their jobs being automated away. As a result, he said, there's a good reason to keep quiet about what they've discovered. I think it's absolutely amazing that people are using these tools to do their jobs better, quicker, faster. And I don't think that it's unethical in any way if the result that the boss gets is now as good as what they did before, then what's the problem, right?
I mean, that's what we've been doing for the longest time as humans. Like, how do we get the result we want in the shortest amount of time? And this is just another stepping stone to get to that end goal that you have way faster. It's just going to look a lot different from what we are used to because of the advancements in technology and in AI that's allowing all these different devices and things we already have in our daily lives to communicate with each other more effectively and more faster, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, if the job is just make a presentation and you can make a presentation in 1/10 of the time or half or even like in 20% of the time that it takes, then the job is done. And I love that they just like the first initial thought they had was, wow, my job is now very easy to do. Let me get another one.
Yeah.
Instead of slacking off. So I commend them. And if any of the overworkers or the overemployed are watching this video, please contact me. I'd love to do an interview with you and talk about what is happening in your world.
Yeah, the process, how you got started, how it evolved to what it is now. Yeah, that would be an interesting subject for sure.
So that was the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a nice one. Every single Friday, I'm dropping a podcast episode that is about an hour long, talking about what's going on in this week. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you next Friday. All right, peace.